Hattie and I am back for part 2 of Hogwarts. So this is going to be the downstairs floor and the garden area, and then in the next part, because it's going to be a part 3, I'm going to be doing the basement and also the second floor. So that should be pretty interesting, hopefully. But this was the garden area. I couldn't really decide what to put in the garden area, but I knew that I wanted to do it first because I was super excited about doing the greenhouses, and also I wanted to make sure that I had enough room because otherwise I would have had to do some drastic changes. And I did do some drastic changes actually whilst I was doing the interior. I had to do some pretty drastic changes on the inside because I did it wrong and I had to redo it a little bit, like only the hallway. That was a main area of worry, but I mean, the garden was absolutely fine. It wasn't much garden to work with, but what I was thinking as well is the area in the bluffs that this is, it would look amazing without much of a garden because you've got the whole of the bluffs, you've got the whole area and your Sims can roam about, and I didn't really think it needed it. But anyway, this was the attempt to a greenhouse, I guess. This was the part which I was looking forward to because, of course, I wanted to put some cow plants in, I wanted to do some interesting stuff in here, and I think that I did. Originally, I tried to use those modern windows, but I absolutely hated them. Like, there was no way that I was going to keep them in this build. The little bird houses here were actually for the owls. I wanted to put some in just for effect. I don't actually know if they'd work for birds, I'm not sure, but I was thinking to myself, maybe the owls would be like hanging out outside and it'd be really nice. So I just put them there because I just thought they looked really amazing just being there. I also got rid of some of the windows inside because I did not like them. I wanted some big walls where I could show the kind of old rustic features that the greenhouse has, I guess, and put some wall decorations on, so that's what I was doing. And I was just having a bit of a redecoration going on in here. I really did enjoy doing this part though. In fact, the greenhouse was probably one of my favourite things to do. I was also thinking about the roof at this point. I wanted something really interesting for the roof area, and I was thinking with all the parts that we got with the Sims 4 Get Together, I was thinking I could have something really interesting going on in here. But actually what was happening is it wasn't working out. I honestly wish that we'd have got those roof decorations without those little poles that go down because they just look so strange, and also when you take the roof off you can't actually see the inside, so it didn't really work as a roof at all. It was a little bit of a burden when it came to it, so I had to take it all down, but I wanted to show everybody what I planned to do at least, but I just couldn't do because I just didn't have the ability to do. But I really do wish that we had a see-through roof. I really do. I hope that at some point we'll get that because I'd have rather had a see-through roof than those parts. I just don't think they went very well. I'm not sure, like I have no idea how to use them, but I was trying my absolute best, but it just wasn't working out. But oh well, I'll probably go back to it at some point and hopefully try again. But this was the point where I tried out the disco flooring, which didn't go very well either. So I did change that eventually, and I went back to that point and just changed it to a normal roof. But then I was changing all these windows to brown, which I think looked a lot better and a lot less modern. The inside to this was set out like a normal classroom, and this is what a lot of people were asking me, whether I would do this as a house, whether I would do this build as a school, and honestly I tried to do it as both. I tried to make sure that both were usable, and you could probably have it as a school, you could probably have it as a residential, and it would just be a mix, so that's what I did. So a lot of the rooms were set out as normal classrooms, and I just added my own features to them, which I really like the idea of. I also put some pumpkins there, but they don't actually end up in the final cut because they all went off. I didn't realise that pumpkins did that. I had no idea that they go off in like a couple of days and you can't use them after that. So that wasn't very good. But yeah, so I was just decorating this wall to look quite nice, quite full. I wanted to look like it was really used, and it looked like a lot of different things that the teachers collected, and I liked it. I was also adding some potions and different things to the table down here. I thought files and things would be down here as well. I put a cow plant in, which actually, if you do download this house when it is on the Sims 4 gallery, so hopefully a couple of days after this, if you look on my Sims 4 gallery account and you download it, then you will see the full grown cow plant there, hopefully, and it will all be aged up and it will look pretty amazing, I hope. Anyway, but I did change those windows, which I can't remember doing, but I think they look a lot better like that, so happy with that. And this was when I was just adding the roofing, the lights, and just the general things. But I was very, very happy with this. This was the part which I was then back to the hallway, which is the start of the actual Hogwarts building itself. I was currently trying to put in the lights and I couldn't hang them on nothing. So it was actually very, very difficult to do because they just have to be like that. But I think that it does actually give a little bit of light to the area, and also it looks pretty special when you're looking up from a Sims point of view. I will be doing a walkthrough of this build, as I will with my other builds. I'm just not sure when I have time to do that yet, but I will do it. But I did leave this bit out, mainly because it was such a big bit to leave in. It probably took me about 30 to 40 minutes just to rearrange how I was going to do the banisters, the stairs, and I couldn't have it perfect. I really wanted it to look like Hogwarts itself, because on all the pictures I saw of the hallway which you walk into, it's all straight on, like it's not diagonal at all like this. And I really, really wish, looking back, that I'd have done the build itself just head on and it would have looked really, really special. But I think that it looks nice like this anyway. I mean, it's the best that I could do. And of course, being diagonal anyway, it does have its pros and cons. So this was definitely one of the cons. One of the pros though for this room, I would definitely say it's that I really like the fact that there are so many oddly shaped rooms leading off of this, because I think that it gives a really amazing effect and it makes the whole build look a little bit wonky, which is a really, really strange pro, I know. But I love that about Hogwarts. I love how the staircases are all wonky and strange, and I just think that it gives a little bit of a better effect. The other thing that I really like about it though is the fact that it gave me a lot of room to put priest holes in, which was something that came around in England in 1558 when Queen Elizabeth I came into power, and a lot of the Catholics were outraged about it. There were a lot of plots to get rid of her, and which meant that people had to hide priests in their houses because they were rebelling and she wanted to get rid of them. But it was especially in the really, really old Catholic manors that you'd find. And I think that this building would be a really, really old place. And I think that it would, being an English house or English base, it would definitely have priest holes or even just places in this build which were just there as secret hiding places. So I put a lot of them in, and you'll probably see that even if I don't mention them that much. I mean, you might see them, but I think for ghosts and stuff as well, which I would definitely imagine to be in Hogwarts, and I'm hoping to put some ghosts on the Sims 4 gallery. Or even if I can't do that, then I hope that the gravestones which I've actually created for this build will transfer and you can have your ghosts on there just with downloading it, hopefully. But I really hope that that will happen, and I think that that would be an amazing thing because ghosts can fly through the walls and you can have all the ghosts from Hogwarts in there, of course. So maybe it could be pretty fun. But so far, I think in this building, I think I've got about 5 gravestones which belong to Voldemort, Lily, Snape, Dumbledore, I think some others as well, Bellatrix. So, I mean, I just absolutely hope that they transfer, but we'll just find out. We'll see what happens. If not, then I'll just put them on Sims 4 Gallery and you can have the ghosts and you can download them into your games from that. But this is when I was adding the final things to the upstairs. I was adding some pictures because I put in a lot of pictures for this build, and this room here was the Hufflepuff common room. I couldn't think where to put this, but of course I wanted to include all the common rooms in here, and it would be a really, really fun thing to have. I actually saw a comment from somebody which I didn't think about at first, and then I thought, oh my goodness, that is an amazing idea. If you had all the groups from Hogwarts, all the classes, you could have them as actual groups in the Sims 4 get together. So you could have Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, Ravenclaw. I'm not sure if they're in that order, but that's what you could have. And this could actually be their club hangout or something, I guess, these rooms in here, which I really like the idea of, and I might actually do that at some point. I'm not sure if I will use Hogwarts, but if I do, I'll probably use it for a challenge or something and do something a little bit interesting in there, which I'm just not sure which challenge I'll do. But if you've got any ideas from things that you'd like to see, then let me know, because I'm trying out different things on my channel. I'm trying out Let's Plays and hopefully challenges as well. So that should hopefully be quite fun. But anyway, this was Dumbledore's office. I wanted to have this being pretty special. I had a picture of Dumbledore's office up on my phone at this point, and I was thinking to myself, how am I going to do this? So I wanted it to be quite an exclusive area. I actually thought about putting it up a level and having some kind of decking in here, but then I thought, no, that's too over the top and it's gonna cause so much hassle to the whole layout of this, because I'm gonna have to spend like, I'm gonna say 15 minutes probably carving out this whole flooring and making it elevate. And I thought, no, there's not much point. And then it would mess up the walls anyway, so maybe it probably wouldn't look good like that. So I had it being like this in the end. But I think that this looked as accurate as I could get it to Dumbledore's office, if I'm going to be completely honest. I know that there is a humongous repeat of pictures, and that is something that I can't control, because I wanted the amount of pictures in this build that Hogwarts has, but I just had to repeat so many of them because we don't actually have that many in The Sims 4. But of course, if you do have custom content, then you could actually just add your own. You could have as many pictures as you want. And it's the same with anything. If you want to replace anything with custom content, then seriously go ahead. Of course, we will get more objects, more items, things like that when we do get more stuff packs, expansion packs, game packs, and it's just a matter of waiting. So eventually I'll probably go back and I'll redo Hogwarts at some point. I'd imagine that we will get some kind of like magic expansion pack at some point as well, which would be really interesting. So maybe that's when I'll use Hogwarts, but I'm not sure yet, so we'll just have to see. But this was when I was moving on to the dining room. This was a humongous room. I think this is probably the biggest room in this whole build. And it's probably my favourite room as well. I think it would look really special with loads of Sims sitting down, and you could have all the houses here. If you do want to use this as a club hangout, and you just have to change the venue type, because I'm going to leave it as a residential. But this was when I was just putting all the tables out. I was trying to figure out what I would do with this area, and it was a very difficult thing to work out, because the actual shape of the room wasn't allowing me to have 4 tables, or at least 4 lines of tables. So I couldn't have all the houses being here, and what I had to do in the end was rotate the whole thing and have the tables being shorter. But I think that that is probably better and more manageable, because it means that they're usable, and also it would look a lot more full. So I think you only need, I'm gonna guess, about 12. Yeah, 12 per table. So it works out a lot better. I mean, it's going super quickly, so it's kind of difficult for my eyes to focus. But I mean, it's not actually that much if you think about it. And it is definitely, I guess, manageable, I think, from a playing point of view. So that's what I did. I also put the teachers' tables, I think, in a row just in front of these. So I think that looked pretty special as well. And I liked it. I liked having the different coloured chairs so that you can clearly see. And I wanted to have a lot of things in this room which would really relate to the film, and have like club banners and things like that. So I was really thinking about that at this point, and I was thinking about how I could make it a little bit special. So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to elevate it as well. I thought to myself, why don't I just go to a bit of effort and elevate it? And I thought, no, because it's going to take a very long time to do, and also it's probably not going to work because I'm going to need steps there, and it's not going to look as special as it probably sounds. So I left that out in the end. But this is where the teachers would sit. I made sure that they could get past here and it would be a manageable place for them to go. And I really like having this here. I like having the bookshelves there. I think that if I could have my way, I would definitely have a sorting hat around here, but we don't have any hats that we can actually put anywhere in The Sims 4, or at least I couldn't see any. So instead I just put some general items around. I put some decorations, some flags, things like that, to really show the houses, and I was pretty happy with that. I also couldn't put the candles on the ceiling because I was super scared that they'd fall down and it wouldn't look good and it would really glitch out. But if you did want to add some candles to the ceiling, then you could, but it just wouldn't be transferable in the Sims 4 gallery, I don't think. So if you did want to do that with this build, then the candles would definitely glitch out, because I've tried it before with things and it doesn't go down too well. I really hope they fixed it so we can have floating items that will stick in the same place and they'll transfer on the Sims 4 gallery. I hope they'll be able to do that at some point, because I could have put some candles in, but I couldn't. But anyway, so I was just doubling up on this side, and I decided to put some portraits there as well, because I thought about the houses. Unfortunately, I couldn't have 4 of those big paintings because we just couldn't have them. We only have 3. So I just put them in the middle like that. So they'd be like the club mascots, is it? I guess the Club X leaders, I think, but I'm not sure. Of course, you can change those around if you wanted to as well. This was the kitchen area. I didn't want to focus too much on the kitchen because I knew that I wanted 2 kitchens for this whole build. I wanted 2 places for the Sims to go and eat because it was going to be so big that I thought having 2 kitchens would solve a lot of problems, because it would mean that you don't have to kind of go back and forth, and it would take like an hour in your Sims journey to go from one end of the house to the other, or something ridiculous like that. So I thought 2 kitchens would be good and just have them small, and it would be more practical from a playing point of view. But anyway, so this was pretty much the kitchen polished off. I decided to actually take out those stools because I thought that I just didn't want to give the Sims any excuses to use the kitchen as a sitting down area. So I wanted to have them actually sitting in the main hall every single time they eat. So it's not exactly a big deal, I don't think. I just really like that about this, and I was definitely happy with the way that that turned out. But I was adding some counters here, as you can see. I was just adding some counters around this area because I wanted to include them. I thought it gave the room a little bit of extra depth, and I love those counters. What can I say? I am a huge fan of those counters. I try and add them in all my kitchens just because I love them so much, and I just think that it gives so much to a kitchen. And of course, a big room like this would definitely need some storage. That's what I did. I added a rug here, and I just added some different decorations around, like flowers and things, just to make it look a little bit prettier. And I added some more sinks, but I definitely wasn't happy with that amount, so I ended up with 2. And this was the room pretty much finished off. I think that this room isn't the best room of the whole build. It's not the one that's completely eye-catching, but it is definitely an essential for a build like this. Then I moved on to putting some changes out here and adding some bookcases and having a toilet, because I thought that I really needed to focus on where I was having the toilets in this build. I wanted to have quite a lot of them because it's a big build, and of course I wanted it to be a usable house too. So in every single bathroom there is a bath or a shower, purely because I didn't want it to be such a big journey again for your Sims to go and really have like a whole adventure to the toilet, because it's really not interesting, and I just thought it would save so much time. So that's what I did. Every single toilet, bathroom, whatever you want to call it, has a bath or a shower in. So that's what I did. This was the outdoors area. This was a little bit of the garden, I guess, but it's all in stone, which I really like, and I kept it like that because I think it looks really special. And I just put some benches here. I put some other things like little plants, little knights, just to give that really lovely effect. And then I was on to one of my favourite bits in the build, which was the offices. I went back to doing some smaller offices for the teachers because I thought that that was important, and I wanted to keep to the layout as accurately as I could. So this office in here was Dolores Umbridge's office. I think that's her name. I'm not exactly sure because I don't even think she was in the films. I think I actually found her online. How strange is that? But I did. So I put some plates in here because that was what I saw in her office, and I thought with her being such a big part in the books, or at least I think that she was, because my sister was telling me about her as well, I thought I would really make it girly, and it would have to be in this build. I mean, there's just no way about it. I have to put it in, and of course I wanted to keep those people happy that are really into the books and really have the favourite characters and stuff. So if there's anything that I have left out, or you'd like to see, like if there's any other offices that I should put in, especially on the second floor, then please let me know, because I don't think I have done a Professor McGonagall's office because I couldn't find any pictures for it, or at least I didn't think that I could. But that was her office anyway. That was Dolores Umbridge's office. I did put in a spare office as well. I'm not sure who it belongs to, but of course if you know who it belongs to, then just let me know in the comments, because it was just an image that I found online, which I'll show you in a second. But this was the waiting area. I think this was where you would wait to see these teachers, and this is where they call you and you go and see them. I think that would be a good area to add, so that's what I did. I then put in this place. I actually started widening the rooms a bit because I did have a bit of extra room, and it was a shame that I didn't use it. So I did broaden it out a little bit, and I think that it looked a little bit better, and it looked quite nice, a little bit bigger than it was. So this was the office that I didn't know about, because it's definitely not Professor Snape's, and I'm not gonna lie, that Grim Reaper outside scared the living daylights out of me when I was doing this. I was like, oh, I've only just noticed it. And I was so focused on the build. I don't know if anybody else just saw him then, but I was so frightened. I was so focused because I get into such a focused mood when I'm doing this. So if anything out the ordinary pops up, it gives me an absolute heart attack. So that's what happened here. But anyway, this is the office that I'm just not sure about who it belongs to. So yeah, of course, if you know who would have a dark office like this, then just let me know and I will have it as their office. It can be known as their office from then on, so we'll see. But that was a spare room just underneath the staircase, which was another toilet area. I thought with the other toilet area being quite far away from this area, it would be quite nice to have something like this, maybe a bit more central to the build, and it would be an easy place from pretty much every single direction to use. So I thought that was quite a nice addition, and I was just brightening up the other areas which I intended to fill it with stuff. So I had a lot of big rooms to work with, but this was a place where I put some classrooms. I did want to put really decorative rooms which probably won't be used, but I did want to just add them there for effect. So there are usable rooms in this build, especially put at the front of the build, because the back bit I did really want to just be decoration and really memories. For memory's sake, if you wanted to have like a tour of Hogwarts, then I mean there would be rooms like this. That's what I was thinking. Of course the bathtubs were back. I mean, I don't know how accurate it will be, but I think on the second floor anyway, I mean, if you did want to remove all those, then I will do of course, bathroom for the girls, which will have Moaning Myrtle in, hopefully. I mean, she won't be in there because we can't lock ghosts in. But I think in my game, I will have Moaning Myrtle in, and I'll put it in just for memory's sake. I think she's a fantastic character, and she was actually one of my favourite characters when I was watching the film, strangely. So that's what I was thinking. I also put a classroom in here. I really wanted some places like this that would really fit in with the school. Not necessarily classrooms that are memorable, but just places that the Sims could sit and maybe do work, maybe go on their computers if you wanted to put computers here. And I just think it would just be a really amazing thing. And of course, if you wanted to have the mod get to school, then I think that rooms like this would be perfect. I mean, I'm not exactly sure because I don't have the mod myself, but I am going to download it. And it would be pretty interesting to have, I think. And if not, then you could change different things. You could have crafts in there, you could have a music room and other things. But in these little rooms leading off, this was when I put the hobby things in. I'm not exactly sure why, but I thought that I needed them for this build. And I thought from a skill building point of view, this is probably where they'd be. They'd be in the smaller rooms and it would be pretty interesting in here. This room in here was a room of solitary. Yes. It's a naughty room, basically. It's where you go if you haven't done very well in school or you've misbehaved, and the teachers put you in there, which my old school actually had. They had one of those rooms and it was really, really bad to put in there. It was like the worst thing ever. And if you had rooms like that in your old school, then I'd absolutely love to hear about them if you let me know in the comments below. Because I think that in the really strict schools, I'm saying that my school was pretty strict because it was. That was what happened. That is seriously what happened. And the people that got sent to those rooms were so incredibly naughty. And I remember one of my sister's friends got sent there and she was in there for a week and it was like a scene out of Matilda or something. I mean, it wasn't exactly that bad. I'm exaggerating now. But to me, being such a young age, I thought that it was the worst thing ever. And I was thinking it was tragic and I never want to be sent there. And I would just feel so mortally embarrassed and I just never want to be in that situation. So I was always good at school. Or was I? It's a mystery. But anyway, this is the teacher's staff room. I wanted to make it particularly fun because I didn't put any TVs in this house so far. And I thought this would be my excuse to do it because I think that maybe have something like that in there, especially the modernized Hogwarts, which I would absolutely love to see. I really hope that somebody will do like a modern version of Hogwarts at some point. And don't start pointing the finger at me because I hate modern builds. I mean, I think they're fun and I do enjoy doing them, but I am such a bad modern builder. I am terrible. So I don't know if I'll ever do that. I am not sure. But anyway, I was rearranging this room. I was putting a staircase in here. I thought that this would be quite nice. And also, I completely forgot there was an upstairs to that part. So I was just casually putting it in there and just trying to remember because I was almost gonna forget that and I wouldn't have had anything up there, but I really wanted something up there. But anyway, this was the entrance to the library. I wanted to make the library very, very grand. So if you watch the next part, which will be part 3, you will see how grand the library will be. It will be super grand because I want it to be Finch's quarters, I guess. And I'm hoping that the upstairs will be a really, really special area, which will be humongous, and hopefully you'll see that. But I was just adding another bathroom into this part because I was thinking to myself, it's about time for another bathroom because it's been a while. And also I was opening up this entrance bit. So what I did was I actually made this entrance bit outdoors, which I really, really love because it means that your Sims can actually overlook that whole downstairs basement area, and the Grim Reaper just creeped me out again, but it's there. So that could be some pretty interesting screenshots if you wanted to have that. But anyway, this was the last section of the downstairs place where I just was really trying to fill it up with stuff. And I thought this would be the music area. This would be where the Sims can do arts, music, things like that, creative things. And I think that I did put another teacher's office in here, but I'm not too sure. But I just put some waiting areas and things in just because I thought that that would be what would be in this place. And I also remembered to put some blackboards around the build. So I was just doing that at that point. I put a humongous bathroom in here because I thought it's quite far away from the other one. Maybe it would be a good idea. And I made it look a little bit jazzed up as well. So I just put some portraits in of stuff, some apples, I think. It's one of my favourite pictures actually, surprisingly. And this was the second kitchen because this kitchen is, I'm going to say, probably the furthest away point as I could have got from the other kitchen, and I thought this would be quite a nice idea. I was also contemplating whether to go back to the staff room and put in a kitchen there too, and have it so that they could at least have a fridge in there and a cooker, and yeah, have that. But I didn't actually. I just put one in here instead and made this a casual room that the Sims could go and they could all be together, which I like. This room here was one of the last rooms that I did, or at least I think the last room, which was just the storage room because I hadn't done anything like this yet, and I really wanted to embrace the whole storage which would be going on in Hogwarts. There'd be lots of these rooms, lots of rooms that just weren't used, that were just completely abandoned, which probably hadn't been in for about 50 years or something crazy. But anyway, that is the build, so I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to show you the screenshots now.